Hey guys, Ken here from the Retro Toys Escapades channel in Malaysia. Thanks for joining me today. This video update is to address a piece of content that I put up on the channel about 2 days ago, and the video was titled simply "The Future of Motu in 2023," and that is exactly what the video was supposed to be about, correctly addressing the situation with the Motu brand moving forward in 2023. And this was to address the speculations that were going around online for the last couple of weeks, maybe about, I don't know, 2 months, in regards to what's happening with the brand. Is the line dying? Is the line coming to a close? Is Origins and Masterverse going to end? All these speculations and talks and discussions were going on online. Various channels were talking about it. And I decided to just try to get some actual facts surrounding this whole situation, because here in Malaysia, as you guys have seen with all of the videos that I've put up so far, there's been a total lack of new items at retail for almost 1.5 years. Okay, so we've had to get the stuff through hobby stores, online means. And as I put up more of these videos, I realized that a lot of you guys around the world, okay, not just Asia, but Europe, America, Germany, everywhere, okay, you guys will also probably face with the same situation when it comes to certain waves, certain stocks, and everybody's just struggling to get the items in. And I just wondered to myself, what's going on here, okay? So I decided to just get some cold hard facts, all right? And that was actually the entire purpose of the video and how it was actually presented. Now, the video was up, and I think shortly, like about a couple of hours after that, I received a guideline, okay? Now, maybe the term guideline is a little bit on the tame side. I would say that I received something of an advisory, okay, stating that the video could not still remain on the platform, okay? So, in fact, it had to be taken off, all right? So that's the reason why you won't find it on the channel anymore. And I know I did receive quite a lot of messages from you guys out there asking me, just what the hell's happened to it. You guys can't seem to locate it. Well, hopefully this explains it. And I don't think the video is probably ever going to see the light of day again. But it did go out there, I'm sure, to quite a number of you guys out there, like I don't know, maybe 1,000. Okay, but I hope that whoever got to watch it, you guys were in fact, followers of the channel, subscribers here, because it's all done for you guys. I hope you guys got the information that you wanted. And I suppose that elements of the video will in fact, manifest themselves in the weeks and months to come. We're just gonna have to wait and see, right? By the way, guys, I just wanted to add that despite the original video now not being able to be aired any further, everything that was presented in it was obtained through proper procedures and channels and through professional journalistic means. For the remainder of this video, I'll just be airing my own views on the current climate of things, as I've done previously on many of the other videos in my position as an operator of this toy channel, as an observer and member of the vintage toys community, and as a lifelong fan and collector of the Motu brand. Firstly, and obviously, everyone can agree that any talk of there being an end to Motu toys moving forward is off the table. I don't think there was ever any legitimate discussion in that area to begin with. After all, there's been Motu action figures in some incarnation or the other over the last 20 years. Most of them just ignored by the general public until Origins put them back in department stores alongside stuff like the Transformers. Now, what we can probably see happening is just a different distribution mechanic for these toys moving forward. And in fact, that's something that probably most of us have already noticed, okay, happening over the last couple of months, but more on that later. Now, the Spectre Creative channel was the first to ignite discussions online that the Motu brand could be headed into something of a new distribution style. And it's well known that the channel and its host has had years of experience from working on the Classics brand. In the original video that went out sometime in January, the thing that basically sparked off this whole debate, he talks about how the Origins and Masterverse lines were going to be pulled from retail as of April of this year. And this was based off information provided by the channel's sources. And I would assume that this means retail in America alone. Okay, it seems pretty obvious. Now, as it is with a source, the information may or may not always be accurate, but more often than not, there is some measure of probabilities present. And ultimately, there's always going to be speculation on everybody's part. Okay, but like I said, more often than not, there probably could be something there. It's just that it may not exactly be what's being stated. But I did notice, however, that the video received something like 1.2k dislikes versus 1.1k likes. Yeah, so definitely a very divisive video. But the thing to remember here as well is that over 1,000 people likely felt that there was definitely something there that was being said, even if that wasn't the case of the line being cancelled or being pulled off entirely from retail. But there was definitely signs of something really weird, okay, some real weird shit, okay, happening, all right, and it's been brewing for months now already. And you know what, guys, on this particular channel right here, there are no sides, okay? Everyone's opinion is welcome and appreciated in the spirit of discussion. I only ask that in the comments thread, the discussions are carried out with a sense of good rationale. Like I said, this is an open and neutral space. Anybody can share their opinions, no matter how diverse, but intelligently and respectfully. Now, that's all that I'll have to say on that. And as always, I thank and value the participation of each and every one of you out there. I can't help but keep getting a parallel image between what's happening now and how the 2002 Motu line turned out. And I've mentioned this as well before in other videos, but maybe now I'm feeling it more than ever. The 2002 line, of course, started out really strong at retail, but something like about 3 years later, it fizzled out completely. Okay, and then it became a series of waves that were just harder and harder to find at retail, and then the whole line just got cancelled. I'm not saying that that's what's happening here, but the line was cancelled at retail, and then it became something like a series of staction figures that were aimed strictly at the collectors community, like statue action figures. You guys remember those? And then after that, it became classics, right? It just ran with that for a whole bunch of years, like almost a decade or so. And that was like strictly for the online collectors community. And yeah, that's how it's been. Okay, basically, it's been a collectors thing for the longest time. And it was only in 2020 when it became something of a retail thing once again. 15 years, right, after the last time they ended. And you know what? Here in Malaysia, the 2002 line actually only started coming in 2004. Okay, I remember this very clearly because I was at the toy store like every freaking day, and I found out about the 2002 series actually because of Toy Fair magazine. Okay, they have all these lovely freaking gorgeously detailed photos of the entire line like for years, and I was just wondering to myself, is this something that's only exclusive in America? Because for some reason it never showed up here at all. But then it did turn up, okay, in 2004. They started to bring in a mixture of waves from the earlier ones, not the entire batch of figures, not everything that was produced, but just a mixture of some of the key characters. And before you know it, they were actually already fast-tracking it to the Snake Man wave. I suppose the Snake Man wave was also the last wave that was showing up in other markets. But here's the thing, okay? I came to understand that the Snake Man wave from the 2002 line was extremely limited in distribution, and I found the Snake Armor He-Man figure, probably one of the most hardest to find figures from the entire 2002 series, and that one was just at retail here in Malaysia. Later, I would find out that this figure was only distributed to selected markets in Europe and Asia. So, look, when I'm looking at the current situation right now, where I see stuff like Wave 13 popping up in Australia. And by the way, shout out to all my buddies down there in Australia. All you guys have sent me all the information on the wave. You guys are fantastic. But yeah, I mean, it shows up in Australia like a day after the official announcement supposedly goes out. The next day, the wave is already in one particular market in the world. And that was like the only market that received it. And since then, yeah, I know it's turned up at the hobby store somewhere in California, and it was like, sold at a surcharge or something like that. But the figures are still not being circulated through normal means. And in fact, prior to that, Wave 12 showed up in Australia as well, ahead of the rest of the world, at the same department store, the Big W. If you notice, I remember there's an image that was being circulated online. I saw this image and I said that, what's this Big W thing all about? Okay, later I would find out when Wave 13 showed up at the same place as well. But, as of then, I was just wondering to myself, how come? Okay, I mean, there's like markets out there that actually have this particular wave, but I haven't seen any reviews yet. And shortly after that, we got the batch in here. One particular hobby store in Malaysia brought the batch in. I got the wave. I reviewed it here on the channel. Then it started to turn up online at Amazon and a few of the hobby stores in America as well. And then since then, it's been popping up, okay, on Metal Creations. I did a video on this, okay, like a whole video on this whole disruption of Wave 12, okay, and all the online sites that has been made available on, but nothing so far, I believe, at conventional retail. But before all that, okay, let's take it back to November of last year, right? When Wave 11 came out. And this is supposed to be the wave that kickstarts the entire Snake Man initiative. And you know what? This particular wave, I don't know for sure, but I believe that it's not been officially released in a lot of markets at retail at all. And a lot of the stocks that have been circulating out there online were actually through BBTS. And I saw a lot of reviews that came out in early November. A lot of you guys made the orders through BBTS. And in fact, the stock that was actually being circulated was in fact the stock that's supposed to be for the international markets. Okay, it was the stock that came on the cards that had no dialogue. The comic books were dialogue free. You know, I was looking at the videos, I was trying to see that, look, what does the comic book say? But, you know, I can't see anything. It's just pictures, right? So I was wondering, how come all of these stocks, okay, were the ones that were meant for the international market? Where were the US editions? Okay, so what's happened with that one? Has there even been an official release for that Wave 11 batch of figures at US retail? You guys can let me know in the comments. But I do believe that there has been an entirely different batch of figures that's been circulating. In fact, here in Malaysia, that particular wave has not even turned up at all. Okay, the hobby stores were able to jump straight to Wave 12, but somehow Wave 11 is still outstanding. It may be coming in soon though, okay? I'm hearing reports that it could be coming in soon. It's not here yet. It's been delayed by over 4 months, okay? 4 months from the point that it actually started hitting markets elsewhere. So look, guys, you gotta admit, okay, there's definitely some weird topsy-turvy shit happening out there. And however you like to spin it, it is absolutely unprecedented for an entire wave of new figures to just pop up in the market with almost no announcement. In fact, the announcement that came out was a day before the figures were actually in the streets, right? So that kind of makes me feel that perhaps, you know, they rushed out that announcement. I don't know, okay? Did they, did the forces that be just rush out that announcement, okay, because they knew that the figures were already out there in the market? It seemed perfectly timed. I don't know, okay? But looking at everything that's happened and even using the 2002 line of toys as a blueprint, we could make the speculation that this entire franchise, right, as we go deeper and deeper into, you know, more obscure offerings, okay, like, you know, more weirder characters, you know, that are coming up probably, this entire line is probably going to move deeper into, you know, the serious collectors market, all right, the more matured collectors market, and we'll probably gradually start to see a diminishing presence at retail. Maybe not for all the markets, okay, but probably for a majority, all right, that are already, in fact, okay, not stocking up on the figures to begin with, all right. Well, it's happened before, and it probably could happen again as well, but we are definitely seeing signs of something to that effect taking place, all right, for months now already. If it does indeed become a more collector focused line, it's not such a bad thing overall, because, you know, there's lots of toy lines out there that are just strictly collector based. You know, the NECA stuff, Mesco, Super 7, you know, they got great stuff out there, and all that stuff's probably definitely profitable to the companies as well. It's just that, well, they can't produce so much of it, all right? So that means that, you know, stocks are probably going to be limited. Stuff is definitely going to be more expensive, okay? And that's not what I signed up for, guys, not for something like this, okay? So in that respect, it does suck, all right? But in the meantime, let's just try and get our hands on as many of these figures as we possibly can. Just try and score them wherever they may be. Just get them in our hands. And once you have them, guys, make sure you rip them open and just have some fun with them, just like I do on this channel. Okay, guys, so that's it from me for today. Thank you for joining me for this short video update, and I hope that it was informative. Keep supporting the channel if you want to see more content and updates like this, and I'll catch you guys again real soon. Thank you, and take care out there.